Hello and welcome to the second installment of 2 Second Orc's Introduction to Ultimate. This time we will be focusing on the second fight, Ifrit. My name is Rei and I will be your guide for this video. As Ifrit's tactics are slightly more complicated than Garuda's, I once again suggest opening the guide document found alongside this video, which you can find linked in the description below. Happy raiding! Let's take a look. Following on from feedback in the Garuda video, which I am thankful for, I will use this section to explain a basic overview of Ifrit's fight phases before moving on to the mechanics of each individual section. Much like Garuda, you will need to wake Ifrit before killing him. Waking each primal and then killing them leaves a puddle behind on the floor, which will be collected by one of your ranged, healers, and a melee DPS for use during the La Habrea phase. Without these puddles, you cannot progress further into the fight than there and will not see Ultima. In order to wake Ifrit, you will need to apply him with 4 stacks of Woken. These stacks are applied during the Nails phase, or Bucket phase, as we dubbed in the guide. Each nail has to be hit with Eruption twice and then destroyed. There are 4 nails and 4 stacks to be applied to Ifrit. This is the basic goal of Ifrit's fights. So let's have a look at the tactics in order. For ease of explanation, I will divide Ifrit's phases into 4 phases. The landing phase, the nail phase, dash phase, and the final bait and kill phase. Let's start by taking a look at Ifrit's landing phase. Once Garuda has died and the puddle has been collected by a designated party member, check for Ifrit's spawn on one of the cardinals. Eruption plumes will cover the arena save for 2 safe spots, in this example, west and south. Ifrit will spawn and dash across the cardinals. There is 1 single safe spot on the map as shown and it will change each time. This means the only safe spot in the plumes is the one that Ifrit is not dashing through, west in this case. Pop sprint, cross the arena into the safe spot. Here we finish off Garuda. The puddle is collected and the party stacks center. Pop sprint, Ifrit north, D or B. B is safe. And we run back into the center. Ifrit will then cast Hellfire, a large damage AoE, followed by Vulcan Burst, a knockback, use arm's length. The tank will then take 3 tank busters. It is best to invuln after the first. 1, invuln 2, and 3. Swap tanks. Welcome to the nail phase. This is the phase where you will wake Ifrit. Ifrit will spawn 4 nails in a bucket shape, or a trapeze. During this phase, it is important to kill them in this order shown. If we consider the bottom of the bucket, the front, we go front left, front right, back left, back right. This is known as the Z strategy. Because of the complexity of the following phase, I am going to split it up into role. First up, the raid leader section. On this diagram you can see the bucket shape. 1 is B, 2 is 2, 3 is A, and 4 is 3. As the raid leader, it is important to take note of the position between the first and third nail. In this example, that is 1, an intercardinal. An intercardinal for the later phase is safe. If the position between 1 and 3 is a cardinal, you will need to remember the corresponding intercardinal safe spot. For example, A1, B2, C3, D4. These will be known as 1 with a rotate to A, 2 with a rotate to B, 3 with a rotate to C, and 4 with a rotate to D. This is only if the safe spot between 1 and 3 is a cardinal point. Here, the nails spawn, and I take note that the safe spot for later on will be the intercardinal 1. Now we move on to the melee positioning for this phase. As shown in this diagram, it is the melee's job to take care of the front 2 nails. Decide which melee will be on which nail. During this phase, it is your job to knock this nail to between 25 and 20% HP before backing away and leaving it alone. Healers. During this phase, one of you will have a job to do. During this phase, one healer will be targeted with a debuff called Searing Wind. It is your job to move to the back of the arena between the furthest nails, far away from the party. In our static, this healer can help out the ranged, which will be explained in the following segment. The healer who remains with the party is in charge with healing. Next up, ranged. In this phase, ranged have 2 jobs. Initially, to start with, you must focus on your designated nail. During the phase, it will be your job to make sure these nails are at 25 to 20% health. However, you have one additional tactic to consider during this. As a ranged, it is your job to bait puddles around the edge of the arena. These are called eruptions. You must ensure that 2 puddles hit 1 nail. So puddles 1 and 2 hit the back nail, 3 and 4 hit the front nails, and then make sure not to be clipped by them as you move away. By doing this, the nails that should be on 20% health by now will each gain 2 stacks of vulnerability, making them easier to kill. Finally, the tanks. During this phase, it is the current main tank's responsibility to ensure that Ifrit is positioned between the first and second nail, facing towards the outside of the arena. It is the off-tank's job to check who they are then tethered to. Off-tank will be tethered to one random DPS. This may be a melee or a ranged. This is a proximity-based damage down. The further you are from the player you are tethered to, the more damage down you will cause on them. As such, you must hug this player and follow their movements and tactics during this phase. That's all the explanation for the setup of the nails phase, so let's see it in action. Here I am tethered to a ranged who will bait their puddles twice onto each nail, moving towards the center of the arena and away. And this is from the healer's perspective. This is the healer who is not chosen for Searing Wind. And this time where the healer is chosen for Searing Wind. Now, to the back of the arena, making sure the AoE does not explode on any party members. Remember this diagram from earlier? It is now the party's job to kill the nails in the corresponding order. Front left, front right, back left, back right. Make sure you leave 1 GCD between killing them, as you will have a short, about 1 second vulnerability up from fire damage debuff. Front left, front right, back left, back right. Ifrit is now woken. Ifrit will cast Hellfire once more before moving into the dash phase. Welcome to the dash phase. I will start by explaining the raid leader's tactics, followed by the healer and then the party. First up, raid leader. Remember your safe spot from before? This should either be an intercardinal safe spot, or an intercardinal into a cardinal rotation safe spot. Call the position and have yourself and the party stack on it. Once again, a healer will be targeted by Searing Wind. Have that healer move anti-clockwise 90 degrees around the arena and stand away from the party. Meanwhile, the ranged are to make their way opposite the group and onto the corresponding cardinal. In this case, opposite is free and the cardinal is C, so they start on C. Here the party move to the intercardinal free, which is our safe spot. The healer with Searing Wind adjusts anti-clockwise away from the party, and the ranged are opposite the arena. The ranged will then proceed to bait 4 eruption puddles around the edge of the arena and rejoin the party. Meanwhile, the second healer is targeted for Searing Wind. The second healer must move opposite the party on the other intercardinal. First Searing Wind, ranged baiting puddles around the arena and rejoining the group. Cardinal dashes. And finally, the second Searing Wind. The healer adjusts to the back of the arena. Because of the way this fight is designed, you will not be hit by the cardinal dashes. However, Raid Leader, if you remember earlier on, we had a safe spot. If your safe spot was an intercardinal, at this point you need not do anything else. However, if it was a cardinal with a rotate, for example 1 rotate to A, this is the point after the dashes have gone off that you would need to rotate your group. Ifrit will follow up with a stack marker. As the party is already stacked together, merely mitigate and soak the damage. Here, because our safe spot was B, we do need to rotate. However, I will add that for some reason this rotate is very late. You can move and rotate before or during the stack marker as long as your group is together. Now, Raid Leader, remember the safe spot from earlier on during the fight? Intercardinal 1 is where we will start. 4 Ifrits will spawn around the arena in the positions of the nails you killed. One of these Ifrits, however, is glowing blue. If you are now stood on a cardinal, and the glowing Ifrit is on an intercardinal, move 1. If the glowing Ifrit is on a cardinal, move 2. If you are stood on an intercardinal, if the glowing Ifrit is an intercardinal, move 2, and if glowing Ifrit is a cardinal, move 1. In this healer example, we start on an intercardinal. Glowing Ifrit is to our right, glowing on the cardinal A. As we have started on an intercardinal, and Ifrit is a cardinal, we will only move 1 in this example. And last but not least, we come to the bait phase. Have the current tank face Ifrit away from the group on the 7 cardinal. You're about to take 3 heavy tank busters and make sure to invuln all of them. Meanwhile, ranged will bait 4 puddles around the edge of the arena. If not killed, Ifrit will follow up with a stack marker. However, as you can see, we kill him here. Move to the edge of the arena and make sure you hug the wall before returning in for Titan and have a player pick up the puddle. Congratulations! You have killed Ifrit and moved on to Titan. Thank you for watching my introduction for casual players to take a go at Ultima Ultimate. Once again, please like, subscribe and comment, let me know any feedback, and remember, if it's not covered in this video, it's probably covered in the document, so don't forget to have a little sneaky look at the document in the description. Thanks guys, happy raiding!